Hey, I wanted to talk about the idea of healing versus self-kindness because I've noticed the kind of ego trap of putting the objective on healing and making it a destination where you're trying to get to a place where you are healed, but it's just another goalpost that's going to keep moving because yeah, you can make certain amounts of progress, but if you're stuck in always chasing something, then you can always come up with something else to chase and you're not really satisfied with where you are right now. And that's something that I've been doing. I'm saying, oh, I need to heal to a certain extent before I'm lovable or good enough. And that's just more of the same trap where you're just pursuing something and you're never going to arrive. So instead, I've tried to put the focus on self-kindness, which is just to say, how can I be kind in this moment, even in my unhealedness, like to just be okay with whatever it is that you're still struggling with and not have to be healed to be good enough. It's just to say, how can I be kind in this moment, and it's to focus on this moment rather than that end goal of when you're going to be healed or when you're going to have a healthy relationship or when you're going to have certain success or markers of how healed you are, because that's still chasing something. And I think that trying to be kind to yourself in this moment could actually get you to whatever place you want faster, because you're letting go of needing it and just saying it's okay to be where I am right now, and if that future thing never happens, it never happened, and that's okay, because all I need is to actually be okay with myself not having that thing, because you can love yourself and hate yourself at the same time. I think that's the thing that I've just recently come to understand. Like, I thought that if I was in a self-hating moment or in an emotional flashback or trigger or something, that meant that I was not loving myself, and then that meant that I was failing. But self-love is not mutually exclusive from having a self-hating thought, which is why I've been using the phrase of self-kindness instead of self-love, because I think for me self-love is just so misunderstood, because love is so misunderstood, and I learned that love is abuse and love is self-abandonment. So my idea of love is just so warped that saying self-kindness makes it easier for me to understand that self-hatred and self-kindness are not mutually exclusive, because I can be kind to myself while going through a self-hating behavior, because that's just the habit that I have not yet rewired. So instead of pursuing some state where you no longer have any self-hating thoughts, or you no longer have any self-hating, self-sabotaging behaviors, I think it's more helpful to pursue self-kindness in this moment, including those moments where you are self-hating, because the kindness can just envelop whatever is in this moment, and it's not conditional upon being self-loving. Like, you don't need to be self-loving in order to love yourself. You can love yourself in all of the moments, which is really what self-love is. But because I've just struggled so much with it and basically made it into another goalpost, I've instead shifted it to self-kindness or self-compassion, or even just calling it presence. Like, I'm just going to sit by myself, with myself, while I'm in whatever state I'm in. And it's the lack of self-abandonment. I think that's the main sort of challenge that I have right now. And self-kindness is a good way of saying, like, is it kind to run away if someone's in pain? No, it's not. The kind thing to do is just stay there with them in that. So I think it's easy for the ego to take over certain spiritual ideas like self-love and say, oh, you have to be self-loving all the time in order to be self-loving. But it's not. That's the same as saying you have to be happy to be good enough. It's just another condition, basically. And the ego doesn't understand self-love. So our goal is to try to kind of love the ego despite the fact that it's hijacking our self-love practice. So yeah, I'm putting the focus on this moment and presence and kindness. So thank you for watching.